Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome once again to the continuing live coverage here of the 2025 Under-18 Curling Championships. We are at the Nutana Curling Club in Saskatoon, and we are down to the final draw of the round robin. It's all playoffs after this. My name is Sean Joyce, my partner for today's broadcast, Maurice Wilson to my right. And Maurice, as luck would have it, we've got a couple of teams here that probably not going to be involved in the championship playoff picture, although there are some interesting playoffs here at the U-18s. They all get a chance to play something, and it matters to that seeding. We've got a New Brunswick team against Nova Scotia on the men's side. And does it change things at all, do you think, for these two teams when they know they're not involved in the playoffs, but there's still pride?
There is indeed, and I mean, we just saw even in the LSD shots, you know, it's a pretty high level of skill. The three of them covered the pin, and the other one wasn't far off of it. So
yeah, it was on the button.
They're not out here just to put in time. There's a lot of pride on the line, and they're looking to win and take home kind of some bragging rights for, at least for the last game.
Well, and it's not just bragging rights as well. There's and I don't know, I'm going to put you on the spot because I know you're with Curling Canada, and I have not asked anybody this yet. I don't know exactly how it works, but I know that there's 21 teams here on the men's side and on the women's side, and those extra spots, there's 14 member associations, those extra spots get assigned based on how well these provinces have done in past years. There are playoff games for these teams even after this to determine seeding, and all of those points work towards who gets those extra berths. Is that
absolutely
right?
No, you're absolutely right with that, and that has to be on their mind as well.
Especially for the Nova Scotia team that's getting us started here, because they are actually the number 2 team out of Nova Scotia. They're one of the teams that got here because their province has done very well in past years.
Yeah, Nova Scotia's had an extremely strong program. This is my 4th year in this national meta coach role, and Nova Scotia has been right up there every single year in both the men's and the women's bracket.
I think, as you mentioned, that they're one of the groups here that's got 4 teams. Yes, 2 on each the men's and the women's side.
And with good reason. They fully deserved it over the past few years.
Well, it looks like we're going to have rocks in play here in the first ends. First stone brought into the forefoot, the corner guard thrown up.
They're not being shy.
Lead for the Nova Scotia 2 team, Sam Krause being asked to guard up that stone he threw in the first one. The second, whose name I'm going to have a lot of fun with in this game, is Bruno Why Not. The answer to why is Bruno Why Not. Marcus Hannum the third, that's him with the brush down now. Elix Lockhart the skip in the house. They do have an alternate, Mark Strang, and I understand Mark got a chance to get into a couple of games this week. That's always good when you've got an alternate. The coach, Shelley LeBlanc.
Probably hack. Yep.
New Brunswick's electing to deal with that rock that's sitting in the forefoot. Hopefully get a roll in behind the corner.
Do have to be a little careful coming by the guard. It's on the center line, so in the free guard zone, also in the no-tick zone. The lead is Ron Allen Elsinga. They do call him Ron. Jaden Caldwell is the second. Boy, they're really going to have to go to get this by the guard. Just gets by. Makes the hit, but rolls out past the guard on the other side. The third for the New Brunswick team, Michael Hughes. Sahil Dalrymple is the skip, and Brian Dalrymple, the coach.
I'm surprised at the movement of that rock with the weight he had. I know I did a game on this sheet yesterday, and it's certainly weight sensitive. You up the weight a little bit and it runs a lot straighter, but that one had a lot of finish to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's been the case. Going into my history a bit, I was part of the Players Association when we started it in the early 2000s, and at that point in time, we were still talking about ice was straight. Everybody's learned a little bit more over the last 20, 25 years that it's not the ice that's straight, it's the rocks. So if your rocks will curl, just make the ice flat. Well, now, when they condition the rocks and there are courses being taught, I know that Curl Sask here is offering up a webinar, I think they're calling it. It's an online seminar on how to condition the rocks. What we found in doing it is that exactly what you're talking about. They become weight sensitive because really all the curl happens when the rock starts to slow down.
Yes.
So with takeouts, it's a particularly a big factor because the harder you throw it, well, it never gets to slow down. Just rubs the guard
Yeah,
on
we
that one.
saw another case of it there. Just that,
Yep.
that hard late finish from the hog line in.
Up there is good too.
Yeah, it becomes very critical when you're throwing those finesse hit weights that your weight has to match the broom because, you know, you might get away with it on a halfway guard versus a tight guard, but it's really huge on those hit weights because you overthrow it a little bit, it never slows down enough to start to curl. You
Yes.
underthrow it, it breaks too early.
Top 8.
Yeah, and the other thing that's factoring in so much in this, with 42 teams here, there is certainly going to be a big gap from the very top elite
for
teams to down to the teams that are, you know, in the lower portion of the bracket and not make playoffs. Just how much rotation's being thrown. The top teams, you're going to see a very positive rotation on it, anywhere 5 to 6 rotations, sometimes even more than that. Whereas the teams with less experience, they might be lucky to get 1 or 2 rotations.
Do you find,
And
Maurice,
sorry.
to carry on with that, do you find that that's necessarily all the top teams, or do you think that might have something to do with the conditions where they play? I've talked to a couple of the coaches here, and my own experience with players, that you find that players that play on surfaces where they don't get as much curl, they tend to have less rotation. And I talked to a few of the coaches here that have said that they just never get to play on ice that curls this much.
And that may be the case. And I mean, let's take New Brunswick, for instance. They're notorious for having straight ice. So it'll be interesting just to kind of track and see, you know, how many rotations they're throwing. They seem to be relatively positive so far, what I've noticed, but I haven't really taken the time to, you know, count whether they're 5 or 6. But certainly we'll have a look at that as this game progresses, and just how they're able to manage the rocks. Because, you know, right now it's all about rock management, shot management.
It is.
You know, we sometimes think the thrower is the one responsible when it's a 4-person shot.
Yeah. The old adage is, it doesn't matter how well you throw it. If you don't sweep it, you can sweep a rock into a miss.
Yes, yeah. Well, and the line call, too, is so critical.
Yeah. Just rubs off the guard
we're
there.
seeing both teams getting fooled a little bit right now.
Did get it into the rings enough to sit third, I think.
Think of how many times that guard's been moved around already in this end.
It's close to back to splitting the center line again. It's been moved around a couple of times. And cheating, there's another overhead camera that we've got access to. It's hard to tell right now, Maurice, who's got third shot, and it could factor in yet. Those 2 yellows in the rings, the back of the forefoot, both exposed.
Yeah, it's just a little too close to call, isn't it? With the camera angle, not sure.
Nice hit and roll there by Michael Hughes. It is behind the tee line, though, so it does provide the opportunity for the Nova Scotia team to come down and sit on top of it.
Top 4. Line's top better. 14. Here more, we're team. Back 4. Whoa then. Whoa. Yeah, back 4. Whoa. Back 4. Back 8. Whoa. Back 8. Whoa.
Brushes have been consistent.
Really
That this is a little warm coming down, but sure curling as it comes through that port. He will tap it to the back 8, but sits 2. Looks like the shooter has still stayed a piece under the guard anyway. Good third, probably.
Now, to get back to our discussion on rotation, that was about 3 3/4 to where it made contact with the rock.
Speed should be close.
But when we talk about rotation and curl, here's the difference right now. He's playing essentially the same shot with almost 2 feet more ice.
Yes.
Girl, you have to.
And this is not shorter rotation either.
No,
Hard, you have to.
it's 3 already.
Hard, you gotta go. Keep going. Keep going. Sorry.
That was 6 to stop.
There's really not much we can do there.
No. Do you ever just go there?
Yeah. If we do that, he's playing this, but it's really hard to sit shot. So.
Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah. I like up there.
Yep.
There?
16, eh?
The new Curling Canada recommendations with the delivery just sat
Probably
through
a hair
the
more.
delivery updates the other day. Is they're recommending 5 to 6 for ice like this.
Disregard, eh?
That's quite
Yeah.
different than what they taught us when
Yes.
we were playing.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw it.
I can remember being taught 2.5, and on some surfaces you never went more than that. On some surfaces you threw less.
Yes.
Yeah. As long as we're on
But
the
that's
right
before
side of
anybody
that
knew
red
anything
rock,
about
we're
conditioning
really
the
good.
rocks. A lot of dull rocks. They just didn't curl as much. It's a different game.
Yep. I do feel sometimes our shots are missed because there's over rotation, but you know they do find it that even sometimes if you're throwing
Gotta be 3.
9 or 10, it's amazing how it will
Curl.
finish.
Yeah, they still curl.
But sometimes you get caught in that
Curl.
in between
Mine's really
number
curls.
2, and
Yeah,
it will
Both
undercurl.
of you. Both of you.
Whoa!
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa!
Whoa. Whoa.
Leave it.
Stop.
Whoa.
Just
Gotta
looking to
stop.
protect against the run-in on that red stone. They needed to stop. That might have curled enough that he still got it.
Is it ever just the 2 to the 4? Hope you stick it.
Hate that, and then you might get this going.
Yeah.
I think there's at least half a rock showing.
Then it'll clear everything.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
I think
mean,
you're
worst
trying
Gonna
to
run it.
case,
He
this
really
would've
needs
been
it to
it.
catch the one on the
Right
button. I don't know
here.
if there's
That's
enough
Yeah.
then if it's half.
So
They're
you get
talking
both
about
of
the
them.
double run in the middle, the yellow
get
onto the
both
red
of
and the 12-foot.
Yeah, please. Like firm.
There's nothing easy, is there?
No, but there's some extra benefit to this one, and you heard them talk about it. Even if they don't
Yeah.
make this one, it might open up a little bit of room for them on the last one. You know, if the guards weren't there, there's a double on those reds in the 4-foot now.
that hole hit.
Yes.
Okay. Let it make a good one. I haven't had any good ones. No, just a thick 3/4. Yeah.
So looking to drive the yellow guard just across the top of that red in the 12-foot, have it come almost straight back, and you could double the 2 yellows out of the back of the 4.
Yep.
He could be sitting 2 after this.
Hard. Yep. Hard. Hard.
Going to be a little thick on the first
yeah.
one. Does he catch the back one? He does, but loses his back red as well. That's a little
Not bad.
unfortunate.
Just a slight overcurl on that.
That's what I like. There, right? Yep.
Can see Sahila a little disappointed with that as well. He didn't mind that it overcurled. He kicked out the 1 yellow. It's losing that 1 red at the back. That takes away any chance he would have had for 2 this
We
end.
don't have hammers. But yeah, to sit 3.
Well placed Nova Scotia rock
Just
here. It's
a
going to
hair
make it
more
pretty
than
tough for
my
New
last
Brunswick.
Oh, for sure. Well,
Top 8 works.
I would argue it's pretty tough for New Brunswick right
Already?
now if you don't
Yeah.
throw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Line's really good. Where? Whoa then. Whoa. Where are you?
I think I can
Whoa.
hear Brushers saying it's back. They
always
don't want to
curls,
touch
man.
it.
Whoa.
Needs this to stay in front of the tee line to really put that pressure on. It's actually going to slide back, chip off their own, and opens up a little bit more room for Sahil to try to
Yeah,
get to the button.
The Tollins certainly was a little bit short on that one. They going to the backs just giving New Brunswick a bit of an escape clause.
I gave them a little more real estate when they chipped off their own too.
Quicker than practice? Quicker than practice?
New Brunswick's in need a full 4.
He put it on the pin in the pregame to get the last rock here in the first end of play.
Line's
Now
good.
needs Full 4 foot, almost a bite of the button to pick up the single, drawing against 3.
Where? Looks hot.
And again, nothing out of the
Gotta curl
brushers.
if it's hot. Where? Where?
It's never good to
Curl,
see your
curl,
brusher
curl,
standing
curl,
straight
curl.
up.
Curl, you have to.
Or the finger
Curl.
pointing up.
Hard!
Sweeping for curl, they were hoping for a little bit of a rub, and I think there was a little slip there from Sam Krause in the house. If he doesn't slip, he might have been able to sweep that all the way back and get 2.
Yes.
As it is, it's a steal of 1. Nova Scotia takes the early lead here. New Brunswick will have last rock once again in the second.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
The Canadian Curling Trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants. With nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
Well, a steal of 1 to get us started here in this final men's round robin draw. Nova Scotia with the 1-0 lead. New Brunswick with last rock here again in the second.
Just top 4. 15-1. Take a look. This year.
They called for the first rock into the rings in the first end, playing it again in the second. We saw New Brunswick throw a corner guard in the first end. It's going to take a different approach to this second end.
You see so much at all levels of competitive curling right now. The first rock placement dictates the way the rest of the end's going to go. If that rock had have stopped top 8, top 12, I'm pretty sure you'd see New Brunswick putting the corner up. But because it's biting top button and in front of the tee line, they feel they've got to address it's too dangerous a rock and control the whole end.
Well, we do, and we've seen it a lot this week. You see it at the elite level of men's and women play too, that delayed corner guard tactic.
Yep.
This is a little bit different approach to it. Rather than hit the stone, they're trying to just tap it back. It's an aggressive play for this early in the game. But I think from what we saw in the first end, I think it's pretty safe to say that Sahil is he's not afraid of having rocks in play.
No.
So
No.
that'll serve him well as through his curling career. You got to play with rocks in play, especially on the men's side, because as you get into the elite play, you can go from 6, 7 rocks in play to a blank end in a hurry.
Nova Scotia didn't want any part of that rock staying there, so they've got rid of it.
I think you just put the jam. Just down here. It's going to run pretty good, so. Yeah. 10. 10-5. Girl! Come on, Jane. Girl!
Looking to hit and roll in front of the yellow at the back.
Hard! Let's go right up. Right to it, right to it, right to it, right to it. Hard! Whoa, whoa. Yep. Hard, Mike!
Pretty nicely executed.
Yeah. Good late movement on that stone. Makes it tougher for Nova Scotia to remove this, hold the shooter, and miss the rock at the back.
Nine, 5, 10.
Straight early.
makes the hit, but the shooter will roll all the way across and out of play. Well, spun back. I don't think they did touch the divider.
Yeah, I don't hate the call, but just have to make it. Yeah, just back foot. Throw it to T-line.
Line's really good.
Back
John
8.
can go and touch right now.
Back 8. Wait's good.
Opting to play the freeze here on that stone in the back, 12 foot.
Girl, then. Girl, then.
You gotta go.
Hard, then.
Girl, you have to go.
Hard, run.
Come on.
Sweeping for curl at the end. They're going to touch it, but will spin off as well. It does stay for shot rock.
Same way. You got it.
Nova Scotia content just to keep things simple this end. You know, the way that the end has begun.
Way tight. Oh, you gotta go. Really gotta go.
This is really curling. Might have been a little bit inside.
Yep, hard. Hard.
Going to make contact with the red, but his shooter will come across and take the yellow as well. Still Nova Scotia sitting 1.
9-9.
I just don't think this is the right call, but if you, like, no matter what you do, I think this is stealing.
Line,
Playing the freeze again. Doesn't sound like the entire New Brunswick team is sold on this.
Look up, boys.
Gotta go.
I don't think you can hurt yourself playing this type of shot. You should always have a blank opportunity
really
at the
gotta
very least. But
See what they learned from the last shot.
Really good.
yeah,
Hard, right to it, Mike. Keep
Really
going.
gotta dig.
You gotta go. Line's good. Close as you can.
Can be shot, but does come up a bit short from the freeze.
You got it.
does change the shot a little bit for Nova Scotia. That you can see from the hack end.
10, 10,
It's
5.
a little offline on the other side this time, so they got to play the other turn to try to drive it by.
Whoa, curl. Curl.
And this is plan B. They don't want to jam it, so they're trying to curl enough to go over the top.
Whoa.
The shooter just slips out of the ring.
Yeah,
won't
loses the
spin
shooter,
back.
but even that was good awareness by Elix Lockhart, realizing, well, we're not going to get what we were looking for out of it. We certainly can't jam.
10.
And it looks like the New Brunswick team has reached the point where they're content to simply exchange hits now. Took a couple of shots at the freeze.
Clean. Clean. Clean.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Hard. Gotta go.
Makes the hit, but this will roll just out the back of the rings, and I think that one stayed in play as well.
Yeah, make sure you're here.
None of those rocks that are just out of the rings likely to be a factor yet, but they both could, or two of the ones that are closest to the rings anyway, could both influence any kind of blank attempt.
Oh, there.
You know, it's already in Elix Lockhart's mind. He went over and took a look at it.
Oh, then.
But there's a lot of rocks yet to come before you can worry about that.
Back 8. Back 8. Back 8.
Been a lot of play in the back of the house this end. This one's just sliding.
Yeah, back 8 might have been wishful thinking.
Yeah. Another one resting on the back line.
It's getting...
Lots of safety hazards.
Yeah, exactly. A blank is not going to be as easy as you might, if it comes to that, it's not going to be as easy as you might like it to be.
Indeed.
Michael Hughes trying to put this rock in a position where maybe they'll get one of those jams, and there still could be a chance to generate 2 here, but they're going to have to go to get this to the rings.
That was my thought.
Even at that age, by the end of 25 seconds, those arms looked pretty tired.
This is such an unusual land. We don't see the game going to the wings the way this is.
Just like top 12.
Just a few half shots have dictated that.
Yeah.
12, top 8. Yeah,
But that's the way it goes. I mean, even there's this other event going on right now called the Scotties in Thunder Bay.
I've heard of that.
But even at that level, you know, it's you throw up that corner guard early in the end, and it usually takes a half shot somewhere along the end before you actually get to use it. But
Yes.
There. Yeah, top 8's good. Line's all you. Where?
nothing out of the
Whoa,
brushers yet, but they are close.
Yeah, it looks hot. Whoa. 14-3. Got a stick.
14-3 is not the number they were looking for. And that one looks to be just out the back of the rings, but yet one more rock that's going to make for the potential for jams, especially if Sahil can get this draw, and even if he's half around, there's 3 rocks back there.
That is quite a rock festival at the back of the house.
Yeah, like that's pretty good. Yeah, you just don't want him to be able to bury one behind it.
Exactly. And the further it is, more it's going to curl out and hit. Right there. Yeah, top 8's perfect.
So the question is, can you create a skip's deuce out of this mess?
Yeah, but if he does it, jams. And the further you take it back,
Yeah,
the easier it makes his
if he's
back
just
more
above the tee line, about half around, it's real hard to get this rock out. Of course, if you're dead around, it's next to impossible.
Yeah, you want this top 8 under. Path is good. A little slower. Hey.
Check to see what the time is going to the wings compared to the middle.
Line's good. Stop 4, guys.
Line's pretty good.
Brushers cleaning it early.
Run right now.
No. Not run.
Curl.
Still got room by the guard. Starting to make a move now.
Oh, right here. Gotta be right here.
Boy, his line looks good coming by. They could
Really good.
bring this a little bit deeper.
Hard.
Need to finish it
Hard,
hard.
You gotta go hard.
You can see a piece.
You can see a piece, but there's a yellow one back there to jam on it if you hit a piece too.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit slower. 15:44 to stop that rock. But we're talking about a foot slower, man.
Yeah.
Foot or two.
I think there's probably people that are familiar with using the stopwatch that have a hard time calling 15-4 slow.
Yes.
That's pretty quick.
Indeed.
No, you're not going to. Or more. No. Control. You got to hit it really thin to get it going, right?
Yeah, that's. I could hear Felix say he's got to hit it really thin. And I agree with him. I'm looking at this, and I'm right behind the rock, and to me it looks like half a rock is a dead jam. Any thicker than that, it's actually jamming and rolling back in, and there's 2 other rocks over there. It's just not going to roll out. He's got to hit this really thin to get it over the top.
Close. Step.
And this is going to curl.
Hard.
Whoa,
Really
clean,
gotta go.
Clean. Clean.
Hard.
Sweep.
Got it just thin enough that it, over the top, does glance that yellow, but still rolls out of play. One more look at it. Probably hit about a third. It did jam on that yellow at the back, but went over the top and still rolled the red one out.
spent a lot of time looking at that yellow rock, whether it's fighting or not.
Yeah, again, from our overhead, it looks like there's plenty of white there and it's out, but we're not directly over top of the rock. We're over top of the pinhole.
No, he obviously thinks it is out as well, too. It's throwing the opposite turn.
It was a little tricky just to find a spot where you could throw this through and not have not have a nose hit for a single.
Yeah, many obstacles.
We've got a blank on the board here in the second end. Nova Scotia continues to lead by 1-0. New Brunswick will have last rock once again in the third. You're watching the 2025 Under-18 Curling Championships.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
After the blank in 2, we're still tied it's still Nova Scotia leading 1-0 as we play here in the third. They've called the first one into the house, both of the first 2 ends. Looks like they're trying to bring this one in again. We did see a couple of different strategies so far from the New Brunswick team. They threw the corner guard in the first end. They played the tap in the second. And this time he's going to play the hit and roll to the corner. I think, Marie's probably fair to say, when you talk about the delayed corner strategy, this is the more traditional way to play it. You play the hit and roll to the corner, and then you're hoping that your opponent will hit and stay out there. And if it stays on the corner, you're throwing the corner guard no matter what.
That's true. Sure. And like I said, I'll go back to what I said in the last end, too. This rock had been sitting top 8. They may have decided a completely different strategy in it, but that top 4 rock is kind of dictating already what's going to happen.
And they did ultimately decide on a different strategy anyway. They're playing the straight corner guard here.
I thought we both saw him.
Well, he initially indicated the hit and roll, which is, as I said, the more traditional way to play that delayed corner. You try to hit and roll to the corner, get the play away from center, and then you don't care what they do with your next one. You're going to throw the corner on the third, or pardon me, the fourth.
You did mention that Sahil seems to be an aggressive skip.
Oh, sure.
And he's...
No, I like it. I like that he's willing to get those corner guards up. You got to be aggressive to score with the hammer.
Just a hair.
I don't mind the delayed corner. I've seen it a lot over the last few years, and more and more teams seem to be adopting it, and we've seen it here this week even. It's a good way to address that middle, because the other side of it is you throw this corner guard. So here we see now Nova Scotia's got a good one in. They guard it up. If you try to use your corner guard now, you have 3 rocks in the middle that you have to deal with before you've ever addressed them. You play that delayed corner. Sometimes you don't have to deal with the middle. Sometimes it just takes care of itself that way.
They almost got off that rock a little too early and didn't make it to the center line, but just touch it.
Just touched it.
Nope. What seems to be happening so much in today's game is the first 3 rocks now are set up, and he's going away from the strategy a little bit. He's going to come back in the middle. Often what they do, they would play what's called the box now, as they have it set up. So he would have drawn around behind that corner, and you'd have a 4-rock box set up.
Yeah.
But now he's calling for the freeze.
Exactly, and then that goes back to what I was saying. So then they throw the third one into the middle, and
Yep.
so before you're dealing with the middle, there's already 3 rocks in the center if you do it that way. That's I think what the delayed corner has come into play to combat that. You get the first one off the middle, and they never get a chance to go back there, and so you've already dealt with the middle before you're getting into the middle rocks at the end. It's a great strategy for the team with last rock if you could keep the play away from the middle of the whole end.
Absolutely.
They initially talked about playing the freeze from the other turn, which would have queued it up towards their corner guard as well. Great freeze. We're going to see some rocks in play again here in the third.
Way inside. Top 12. Top 12, top 8. Go ahead. Yep.
Whoa, just for Wade.
Top 12. Top 12.
Are you a guard?
Yeah.
Leave it then. Just leave it.
Good communication on part of Nova Scotia. We're planning on going to Plan B.
That was the 5th stone of the end, so they can now make a play on the guards. They've left them staggered. So this is the chance to, again, as we talked about, this is the chance for the team with last rock to start dealing with those rocks in the middle.
8. Yep. Wait's good. Hang on. Straight up. Hey! Come on. Hi!
Gets both guards.
Nicely thrown.
And the shooter rolls across and leaves another corner over there. It's a double wide corner now if they get a chance to use it. Marcus Hannum throwing the intern, try to find the guard here.
Top 14.
We have him, actually he's listed as the third on their roster. I noticed now that he's throwing the second stones today.
Back 4.
Where?
Back 4.
Hard, straight.
The call was for the guard. This is going to come in quite tight. They can actually disturb that red, yellow in the rings. That works too.
Yeah, that's okay.
Takes away the corner freeze. Tough for the New Brunswick team to do anything with both of those yellows.
Go 11. Yep.
I like that
Yeah,
call.
any attempt on a double, shooter's going to roll away. And
This way.
doesn't help you much.
I'd be tempted to roll even bigger than what he's talking about. Just jam the yellow, roll away so you don't leave a double on the reds. And then you should have a chance on your next one to play the hit and roll behind the corner.
I like that.
Yep. Yep. Clean. Carol. Whoa.
I don't think it needs to curl.
Yep. Whoa. Dude, boy. Really good.
They seem quite happy with that result.
Yeah, they did leave the yellow slightly overlapped on the red, but I don't see how Nova Scotia does anything with the top red, so they're going to have to play the back one. Can't see all of it, maybe 7/8. Can't afford to lose the shooter either.
Board down 11-5.
Great.
I mentioned Marcus
Hard.
Hannum was throwing the second stone, so why is he throwing the second stone? Why not? It's Bruno, why not? I told you I was going to have fun with that name. I'm going to do it.
They're going to have an overcurl here that's...
Jigs the rocks around in the rings. It still leaves the Nova Scotia Yellowstone at the back of the 4-foot is shot rock, but second and third belong to New Brunswick right now. He really wants to use that corner guard.
He is? Like if we go here, he's probably doing that. Like I think you wait for him to make this look better for us.
Like if you just go under, he's
I'm not
just gonna hit
convinced he's going to make it look better for you.
So he does this.
I like the nose hit on the one on the 12-foot.
I do too. That would be my choice shot here as well.
Do you ever make this now?
You can, but then
And then just cue this up in case he does this.
The 3 reds in front of the
Cue
tee
this
line.
up in case he makes this.
The yellow rock back there for some backing if needed it.
Yeah, no obvious doubles. Plus, then if he made that shot that they're worried about the roll on
but
the
even if it
reds
does,
just
like,
biting
we can
the
make contact. We're still
4 foot,
going to have
you've got
an
2
extra
rocks,
red
you could
one.
run into it.
You're going to have an open one at the end.
Coach Dahl
Yes,
will
you
look
gotta
for an
keep shooting,
interaction
okay?
with his team. Getting the message across.
10 here. We're just going to try and just off nose the red.
They're going to play the red back onto the yellow.
Just roll. We're going to roll under the yellow. Just 10 here.
Don't hate this. This is a little bit riskier, but it's certainly there on this ice.
Whoa.
I think I still would have preferred addressing that rock in the top
Well,
12.
so do I. The leave might not be as good on this shot.
They may be doing this anyway. They're just curling.
It's gone to a plan B. That might have been further down the alphabet than B, I think.
I think so. I think so.
Rubs the yellow stone in the 12-foot, catches their own, but off that angle, drives it by the yellow. I think the red looks like it stayed for third at the back of the back of the 8-foot, which is important.
We have seen a number of overcurls, though, on that intern side along that center line in this game. There's been a huge number of shots.
It runs and then moves big. You really have to anticipate it on that side. And, of course, they were throwing quiet weights, which, it worked out for them because that's how they kept that stone in the back of the 8-foot.
Whoa. This nose.
My, how things have changed now with Nova Scotia sitting.
Now they're sitting 2, but that stone at the back of the 8-foot still could be a factor in this end. Going to play the hit and roll over in front of shot rock at the back of the 4-foot. If this one overcurls, you actually could make the double.
Clean. Whoa.
Curl.
Curl. Hi! Really got to go.
Hi, you gotta go.
Has to get up to the nose. He doesn't want to drive it onto that red stone at the back. But he did. Spun again enough that the red at the top of the 8-foot is second shot for now, but it's wide open.
Just steer it. 10?
So a chance for Lockhart to hit and sit 4 for the time being. Nothing guarded, but down to skip rocks, and it's going to be hard for Sahil to set up the skip's deuce. All the yellows will be open, but he's not going to be able to roll behind any cover.
Yeah. Nose isn't the end of the world either. Yeah.
I would argue nose is probably pretty good here, actually. When you
That-
roll over,
That might be as good a result
Yeah.
as you get.
you roll over, they're going to hit that rock in the 4-foot and maybe try to roll under your shooter.
Close. Whoa.
Still well out there.
Yeah, same issue here for Lockhart. He can't hit this on the outside. There's a yellow at the back he could jam on.
Really hard.
Happy at your shot.
Yeah, but shooter did stick around.
Yeah, even nose is pretty good.
Yeah.
Just 11.
Nose he freezes. We rip it.
Nose, I don't
Boy, this
Never
has
free-
been
he's
an
never
end.
freezing.
This has been an end with a lot of momentum shifts.
He's just going 10.
Yep.
Sorry,
This is one
Maurice,
that we
I just
had
heard nosy
jumping a little
freezes.
bit.
He's never freezing.
So just watch it.
The key here is try to keep your shooter in a spot where you don't leave an easy double. Nose hit actually looks pretty good. It would be a steep angle. You have to be a little careful. You roll out to the outside a little bit, you might make the double easier.
It's 10. Nose 10.
Guess you could roll undercover and still be second shot.
You could, yeah, for sure. That's aggressive. I mean, you're in danger of rolling out when you try and roll that far.
Whoa.
Yes!
We'll see what this path leads
Gotta
to
go.
with the intern.
Hard
Well,
to
he's-
stay.
Hard curl again.
Yeah, he's
Over
over curling it.
Okay.
Well, he left a double.
Pretty much a gimme double.
Let's put ice there. Yeah. Same way.
I think they were worried about that one rolling out altogether, but if they had it to do over again and it was a late decision that they were going that way,
It moves like the last one.
you actually could have rolled that another foot. They could have let it curl. Maybe roll another foot. At least it makes this shot a little tougher. This is hard to miss now, and even if he does, like if this one hangs, like we saw the last couple of hits hang, and he hits that 7 thick, he could still roll in front of the one at the back 8. You're still only going to get one.
Yeah, we have noticed that out-turn side has been hanging.
Close. Yep. Whoa.
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 Curl. Whoa. Whoa. Straight. Hard on the right.
Gets them both this time, stays right there.
Sit 3.
Almost over curled. He got the back 8-foot one a little thick, and nobody was ready to sweep that second red stone out, but it does clear the 12-foot easily. I don't think Elix was sure it was going to clear. You could hear him yelling for the sweep on it. So for Sahil Dalrymple here with his final stone in the third, facing 3, electing to play the hit on the stone back 8-foot.
Yep.
Just needs to hit and stay. Anywhere in the 12-foot would be good.
Clean.
Oh, curl.
Clean.
Clean.
Looks pretty good.
Cleans what you want to hear.
Right in
And
the nose.
put the single point on the board for New Brunswick. We're tied up after 3 ends of play. Nova Scotia will have last rock for the first time in this game when we come back for the 4th.
I'm the last guy that looks at the draw. I don't care that much, in all honesty. I would say that I think someone posted the draw in our team group chat, and I don't think I looked at it for about a week after. Now, I did finally look at it because the guy started kind of talking about the pools and whatnot, so I thought, oh, I better go and look and see what's going on here. And so, yeah, I don't pay too much attention to that stuff. I'm kind of the type of guy that's like, what time? You know, what sheet? And definitely who are we playing? We want to talk about that pregame and whatnot. But what time, what sheet? Get me there, let's go. And I don't want to get there too early either, because I don't want to be in my curling stuff any longer than I have to be. I don't like hurry up and wait. Just get me to the ice, get that practice slide in, and away we go.
And what shot do I need to make? And here we go.
You bet.
Line's really good. Plug up, boys. One.
All tied up as we begin play here in the 4th end. Sean Joyce with you live. My partner, Maurice Wilson. We're at the Nutana Curling Club here in Saskatoon.
Need to work hard in getting this one to the center line, and they managed to do it.
They even let the skip sweep a little bit.
Good sweep by the skipper.
I play seniors now, and if my team didn't need something to aim at, they wouldn't even let me have a broom.
Air wide. Whoa. Whoa. Always curl. Always curl. Really got to curl. Great weight. Yeah, we've been slow all week, so.
Looks like once again we're going to have some rocks in place. Center guard thrown up to start the end. The come around, now a freeze attempt.
And New Brunswick's taken about another 6 inches further than what they have been. Both teams have been taking
Gotta go.
on this side of the sheet.
Yep. Alright, you gotta get it, boys.
Keep an eye on that to see how ice conditions change throughout the course of
You
the game.
really gotta go head down. You never look it up on this one. Hard, hard, hard. Keep going. Good, Joe.
Slightly underthrown.
Great way to miss it.
It certainly doesn't look like, though, from what we've seen in his first 4 ends, that New Brunswick minds playing with rocks in play. You heard him even say on that one, it's a good way to miss it.
Yep.
He's prepared to play this end with rocks in play.
Yep. This looks quite toasty.
And it will slide all the way through the back and out of play. You could get around there now from either turn, but the out turn breaks so much harder at the end. It just looks a little bit easier to get into that button area.
Very hard finish.
This doesn't look light either.
Did he give you times for either of those? I'll get it. Don't worry. I'll get it.
Yeah, 13:53. Be coasting right through the back of the house. Almost hack.
No. 15-5? But I'm a little cold. Late. I'm getting tired. I took like 5 rocks. That's too much. 15 is not more than 15 is, yeah.
The two skips seem to be getting along really well.
Very social. Very social indeed. See whether Nova Scotia can make the adjustment and find that draw weight.
Weight looks better. Ton of room by the guard, but all the movement is from the hog line in.
Biting top button. 15:34 on that one.
Got about a third undercover.
Like even when I both overthrew, I thought it might be a hair faster on that side, but on what side? On what side?
Have to tap it to get shot rock, but even just a freeze here is good.
5-4, 5-3, I think. That makes sense.
Line looks good.
Yeah, he's a little tighter coming by the guard. This looks like it's got enough weight to move it a little bit. Well, maybe just nudge it. He will get to the inside corner. That's a great shot.
Yeah, both teams seem to be willing to mix it up right now. There.
Yep.
Pretty aggressive game plans for both teams. Saw Nova Scotia a little bit more defensive in the early ends, but they've come to play now.
You know, at this point in the end like this, it's all about manipulating the angles. So Nova Scotia trying to come down. I think the indication was they wanted to tap, but he's got to get at least to the nose. You chisel this on the outside, you're just going to tap it into the button. Kind of like that. Might have moved it far enough that he can get to it on the in turn. It gets buried, but there's plenty of curl there.
Yes, I think it's still successful, but it is sitting shot now. Brunswick will be trying to lock another one on.
Yeah. Get to the inside of that yellow again. It's actually in a pocket between the yellow and the red.
No, we're not. Just a hair up on yours.
This one's got a little more rotation than the other rocks at the end.
Yeah, still going to move big at the end.
But it's hit the brake now. See how much finish. Yeah, but be happy with that. Serviceable rock.
I don't hate ripping.
The third's first stone here, and
Want to just play
everything
this?
in the house kind of going against
You got it.
Lockhart right now. I'm not sure that I'd be peeling this way. I think if you're peeling, you want to try to get both guards.
I'd agree.
Good peel. Great. Yep.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think I would have called that. You know what? That's just one of those things that it happened so quick. He called the peel. It might have been a good spot for your coach's interaction there too, because.
yes.
But he called the peel, and then at the last minute, it was the very last second that he went to that turn. I assumed he would play it from the other turn. There was a lot of good things that could happen from the other turn. You could go over the top and have it coming in and maybe drive the yellow into the red.
They don't have much on this side.
And your ESP was working perfectly in that one.
Yeah.
Like right now, all they have is this.
Unfortunately.
It's overbearing.
He'd called a pretty good end up until that point.
It curls so much. Like if he makes this, we don't have a whole lot. Maybe that.
Yeah, I would argue you still got that always. There are still 2 yellows in the 8-foot, and that's part of the factor here. He doesn't want to leave them the shot at the redstone.
Called it up on that B. Everything here is really good, right? He can easily get in here, make him open it, then you still got a way in.
Looked at hitting the yellow that's open on the edge of the 8-foot.
That was a short and sweet interaction.
Yeah.
Part of Brian Dalrymple. For those of you not familiar with the interactions, each team is allowed 1 per end, and the clock continues to run while you're out there. So it's very important as a coach to be out there well organized and completely to the point.
Yeah.
As quickly as possible. In order to save your clock.
34 minutes on the clock for an 8-end game, as opposed to 30 in a more traditional where you've got a timeout where the clock stops. That's not really guarding anything. That up long enough that as much as it's guarded a wider path, all the finish is late, he can still get to that shot rock.
Yeah, need that tighter to the house.
Just like back 4.
I like the call over on the other side of the house too, and taking out that yellow one and trying to roll under.
There was nothing wrong with that call. It's part of the reason you're guarding or you were trying to guard this is because there's those 2 yellows in the 8-foot. That there's too many of the other stones piling up when you've got a last rock against you.
Back 12.
I actually thought you might see Nova Scotia play the double on the other side with the Reds. You could actually maybe get all 3 of them moving.
Back 12 hack.
I agree.
Hack.
Whoa.
You make the shot, and you still got a hard time scoring.
You're never going to curl.
This one's a little hot. And see, just holds the line, doesn't get that late finish like we've seen.
I mean, nowhere near.
On the B, I think.
Yeah, so you need like here. Just to keep it out there.
Yeah, I like it.
It was just kind of backline to hack too, but it did run considerably straighter than what we've seen when the weight's down a bit.
Like it too.
You make this guard, you might force him to try the triple on the other side.
You might.
I don't think so. I think this is their easiest shot right now, and it looks brutal. Okay. Huh? Like a 2 and as wide as you can get it, pretty much.
That's the difference right there. You heard him talk about this is their easy shot. It looks brutal, but that goes back to what we were saying about how much ice or how much curl you're used to playing on. because I play here all the time, and that shot looks pretty easy to me. Those guards aren't even in play to get to that rock in the forefoot.
Right.
No. Curl.
Whoa, whoa! Whoa!
Curl. Curl. You got to. Curl.
I think they'd be fine to bring that in, actually.
Yeah,
That's good.
I don't know what the panic was.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't change anything for him now. He's still got the triple on the other side, and I think he's got to play it.
It's interesting to see what the time would be when they were so far out. You know, they were almost on the divider between the two sheets, and it's still 15:03.
They might be looking at trying to get to the inside of the red on the top of the 8-foot, make the double on the yellows. Now he's looking at the double the other way. You can get all three of them if you hit it that way.
Might open up a draw. But he's probably hitting that. I think you have to move these. Yeah. Those are definitely problems.
They don't even seem to be looking at that.
Well, he's talking about playing it as a double,
Yeah.
not realizing that, you know, if you hit it just right,
Mhm.
I mean, it is thin.
Could also hit on that side.
Because you got to catch the second one fairly thin to get the third one moving. But
And if you did that, it'd be interesting to see where the yellow spins to
I think this side's
after it
almost
makes
easier.
contact with the red on the right-hand side.
yeah.
That one just gets there. Yeah.
Depending on how thin you catch it.
If we play that way, I like control. Like if we play tight. There? Yeah.
So he is trying to get just across the face, double the two reds out of the top 8-foot and the one that's not quite full 4-foot. I'm not sure how this opens up any more room for him for the last one, though. Depends where the top red goes, I guess. I mean, it could roll to the edge of the 8-foot and he could leave himself an in-off double that way.
Here more. I think this side throws a bit more.
It's a bit of interesting information for the skipper just before he throws.
Whoa. Close. Whoa. Whoa. Mr. Curl. Whoa. Straight. Straight.
Ends up hitting it awfully close to the nose and just spills it into the top of the 4-foot.
I mean, he's got this. Alright, there he is. Yeah, they just played this. Which I don't mind it. I mean, it's an angle. So what do you ever know?
Still a lot of yellow in that house to work with.
Yeah. Well, there's only
Red does sit in a
only
nice
one rock
controlled
left to work
position.
with it, though.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather give him a draw for one to that than an angle for.
So do you ever just nose it? Make both these?
Well, both doesn't even do it. I think you just. This is probably really good.
Yeah, that's alright, yeah.
I think you're trying to roll in.
Yeah,
Just 10.
I like it.
Right there. If I just nose, it's fine.
Yep.
Nose almost makes the
Yeah,
double on
I
the
just don't
yellows,
wanna
and
give him the
you know, it
in-off
seems
for
like
four.
exactly. Well, the in-off won't be for 4; it'd be for 3 because you're going to have to come off your own. But you get rid of that stone at the side of the 8-foot, and it kind of takes away the incentive to even play that shot, the in-off, because now it's only for 2, and
No, there's no easy.
not that the draw is easy, but it's a makeable shot on this ice. They throw it a lot, that draw to the button.
I think they seem to be calling for a roll in, and
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go. There's a few options there where it rolls too.
You got to be careful not to leave the triple if you're rolling.
Right.
Hard! Hard! Hard, right up! Right up! Hey, it's not bad.
You know what? I don't think that's bad.
No.
Because you're sitting shot second and fourth, so that yellow at the top. I mean, if he tried any kind of an in-off, it's only for 2 at the best,
Yeah.
and it's a low percentage shot.
I think this is the only option they
Yep.
have. It's just you're going to have to draw the pin or awfully close to the pin.
Yeah, awfully close to. No, it's there on this ice. It's there. The movement is all late. He can get by that stone at the top of the 4-foot.
Yeah, it still requires a high degree of precision, though.
Yeah, I would say if anything, he's tight on the ice here.
I think so as well.
But you sweep for the tee line. That's what you got to tell the brushers on this. Sweep for the tee line. Trust that the line will be there.
He's taking a little more now. Now he's had to look at it.
It's going to look like a ton of ice all the way down, but it moves so hard at the end. Sweep it to the tee line, and you'll be close.
Skip asked for a little bit more ice. I'm not sure he got a little more ice.
You know, that was a veteran move by the third. You don't see that a lot at this level, where you can learn to just jiggle the handle without moving the broom. That's more of a veteran third type of move.
You sound like you're speaking from experience.
Well, I skip most of the time, but yeah, I've had those thirds that seem to know how to jiggle the handle without moving the head.
Line's really good. All you. Where? Well then. Lots of room.
Looks like a ton of room, but this is going to snap.
Has he got the right weight?
Yeah, the issue's going to be the weight. They haven't touched it yet. Little strong butt. Does it spin at the end? It's no worse than one.
Steal of one.
So it's going to be a steal of one. New Brunswick now with the lead for the first time in the game. They take a 2-1 lead after the fourth end. We'll be back with fifth end action for you right after the break.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
The Canadian Curling Trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants with nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
When I came onto the team, I said, good job, boys. Earning that Brier spot and earning that trial spot. I guess I got to thank Brendan Botcher for that too, a little bit, maybe a lot. But yeah, never before have I walked into a team that was automatically in the Brier and in the trials. So it's a different feeling for sure. I think that for me, it definitely made me want to work even harder though. And I think it just takes a little bit of that pressure off, knowing that those spots are already there. You're walking into a veteran team with a lot of great systems in place. You know, the guys they've been nothing but welcoming for me, and I've been curious. I've been asking a lot of questions on how they do things and trying to, you know, apply my own little flavor to things. And I think we've just really worked well and collaborated well together.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss. But it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice, you leave behind a legacy.
Well, certainly been an interesting game so far. This men's Pool C action. Neither of these teams in the hunt for the championship playoff spot. We talked about a little bit, Maurice, at the start that there are still seeding playoff games to come. But, you know, the way they've played, the aggressive play, the game calling, you could make an argument it's a little surprising that these two teams are near the bottom of the pool. They played well, and they certainly know how to play with rocks in play.
Oh, absolutely. I like the skill level. They are U-18, so there are some flaws in the delivery, but
sure,
man, they're executing at a fairly high level in this game. Also impressed very much with the team systems both teams are showing. You know, the good communication out there and a lot of good decision making going on.
You're way out here. Always curl.
New Brunswick with the 1-point lead as we begin play here in the fifth. They throw the center guard. The come around now by the Nova Scotia team. Bringing it into the forefoot and will bite a piece of the button. Just gets a corner under cover.
I like back line. See if you get a little inside. You know your speed. Back line. Whoa. Yep. Gotta go. Yep. Come on. All right, buddy. Clean.
Line getting a little tight on this one early. You got to get by the guard.
Just.
You're really good.
Enough to pass the yellow through the rings and rolls over just to the other side of the guard. He's still got a corner underneath.
Wasn't much daylight going by that guard.
No. Well, and the daylight coming by, I've talked about it a little bit in the broadcasts. It's the first game we've done together, but one of the unintended consequences, I think, of the no-tick zone was a shot like this becomes a lot trickier.
Oh, absolutely.
That wasn't
absolutely.
It wasn't exactly what it was put in for, but these used to be area plays. As a skip, you might tight ice this and figure, well, if we touch the guard on the way by, that's fine. It's not fine anymore. And that is a really good shot.
Yeah. The outturn side does seem to be much easier to manage than the intern. The intern, it's just such a hard finish no matter what weight you're throwing at it.
But that was a nice shot. He touches that guard on the way by. The guard goes back, your stone goes off. And I think that's one of the, I really like that about the no-tick zone, is that unintended consequence where it has added a level of precision to those shots.
For sure. did.
I need to see the replay. I still don't think that got by.
I didn't think that was going to happen at all. Great sweep.
There is the replay. Oh, it did. There was just a little wee tiny bit of air. I thought he might have clipped the back end of it, actually. But
Well, I wonder if he didn't.
it looked like air on the replay to me, but just.
Backline hack.
Great.
Backline.
Of course, as you creep that rock further up into the rings, it gets harder and harder to stay behind cover.
Okay. Curl.
More room coming by this time. And he'll
Slight
be
roll away.
a little on the outside. Now there's room to get underneath, I think.
We're gonna keep making these.
There it is. It's got some daylight now.
Yep.
I keep coming back to how we started this end, though. You're watching this level of precision on these shots on lead and second stones.
Yep.
How are these two teams at the bottom of their pool? This is some good shot making.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we've been treated to a very good game here. That's good enjoyable.
Great up, Ron. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Give her. Give her. Come on.
This. Like that.
Not able to get to the inside this time, so it stays in the open.
I know they're just trading stones, but they're certainly not just open hits that they're making.
Nope.
Degree of difficulty to them.
9-5-10.
Whoa. Whoa.
10.
Curl. Whoa. Try to roll it away. You're not gonna.
Nose hit.
You were never getting inside.
What? No, it hit the boards and bounced back.
I like 10.
Yep.
I hit it about 3 more times. It won't be in the rings.
Whoa. Curl.
Whoa.
On the third stones now. Michael Hughes with his first, trying to get the roll
Hard,
behind
right up.
cover.
Right up for nose.
Hard.
Gets the hit again, right on the nose. Stays right there.
Just 10.
Nope, Scotia's got last rock here, and I was just wondering, you could make an argument you don't really want to roll buried on this one. If you roll just to the edge of it, I don't think New Brunswick can get into the rings on it again. And then you have a chance to switch to offense, right?
Yes. They managed to actually work their way pretty much right out of the rings. This one, if it does make contact and rolls, it's just going to be a biter.
10-5-11. 10-5.
And I think they got it roll.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't think you wanted to
right
roll.
into the open.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
I think this is that spot that finishes a little extra. Do you like a hair extra? Like a hair extra?
This is quite a lot.
Should be good.
I think this is tons.
Okay.
Yep.
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 Oh boy.
Hard.
Oh boy.
Right up.
Hard, hard, hard.
Hard. Gotta go.
That was not an encouraging sounding sweeping call.
No.
It's going to get a piece of it.
And
Enough to
just
get it
got
out of
it.
the rings. Loses the shooter as well.
You got it.
Well, that entertaining start to the end is did not continue.
No, well, it's an opportunity now to peel the guard and perhaps play this through to a blank.
Straight. I thought that one would go. Hard roll. Hard roll.
Kicks it off the center line, but he's not going to lose the shooter.
This gives New Brunswick an opportunity.
Where do you go? Open.
I think you're not go open. You might just go under. Okay. Because then he's not like he's okay taking one.
He peeled the guard. He tried to peel the guard on that one. He's never going around.
There's Barry one. I don't think so. This is the
Looks
same
like Nova Scotia. And
shot that
again,
I
this
threw in
gets back to what we talk about at the elite level strategy. Looks content to blank 5 on the theory that if you have last rock in 6th, you got 2 hammers to 1.
I think this is tough.
This is high level strategy from these kids. They understand the game.
Yes, they do. Now, well executed shot by New Brunswick here will make it tough and
Yeah,
set up the force.
you
And
can
that's
take that
certainly what
away.
that would be their end goal.
Yep.
Girl,
In this situation.
Line's good.
girl early.
Grill a bit. No, line's good. Line's good. Right on my broom. 15-1. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Don't touch it.
Gonna stop in time. Yes.
Behind the T line, though. If you're going to get forced to 1, you may as well get forced to 2. If you can't see enough of that to get it, and he's looking for input from the other end.
You have to go. Half?
I'd say you can see probably about half a rock.
We like port?
It'll move, eh? What? It'll move. I don't know.
Just has to be careful with his weight. You have the right weight choice here. Make sure you hit the broom.
Like to keep the shooter likely in the back of the 8-foot, back 12-foot somewhere as well, just so that he doesn't give Dalrymple a chance to try that again. If he buries a little farther, you're going to get forced here.
You're really snapping your wrist.
Yeah, we'd have to think that if New Brunswick had been another 4 or 5 feet lighter, that rock would have finished considerably more and made this shot far more difficult.
Yeah, he might be forced to play the corner freeze then. I thought he might look at it with it being deep, but he feels he can see enough of it to play the chase.
Close. Yeah. Whoa. Whoa.
You get the weight up a little bit, it just does track a bit more, but
Girl.
see what the finish is from hog
Girl
line
hard.
in.
Girl hard.
Right by it.
Yeah, just so he can't nose it and be shot. I think you're right here.
Looked at playing the same draw. We're going to get a coach's interaction.
It's a draw. I'd go there. He might make the double, but it's one. You try to put it there, it might be a nose hit. I'd go under. Right there. You just threw the line.
Where are we going?
Right there. Yeah. Just make sure it stays high. Like top 12.
Yep.
The unspoken part of that it sounds like they would prefer to have Elix playing the draw with his last one.
On the left side. Even if it doesn't hit the paint, it's okay. You're just trying to block it so you got to throw a draw because you just do one through the house.
Line's good. Ron early.
Ron, you're going to have to go a bit.
Ron early.
See if you can make the adjustment.
Just top 12, guys.
A little less weight on this one.
Line's good.
Line's good.
No, look. No, 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 no. 15-6. Don't touch it.
Don't sit in front of the tee.
I don't think that matters. He's going to have to draw with his last one. He's not going to go to the wings. I think as long as they buried a piece, they had forced him to do this. Well, I'm surprised. He's chasing it.
Yeah.
This is not the way you'd expect to see a lot of teams play this draw.
I agree with you.
There's not really any backing there. If you're heavy enough to need the backing, you're probably going by it.
Fully. We're playing it this way. For a hair heavy, we might have the backs. Really, with that ice, I don't think we will. So.
I agree with him. I'm quite shocked that this is willing to chase that.
I'm surprised we didn't see a coach's interaction here. You're actually drawing away from the button, so you're drawing to a narrower piece of the rings here. Needs full 8 with his final stone, facing 2.
Felt pretty good.
That's really good. You gotta be full 8.
Whoa.
Full 8.
Yeah, that's also a bit of a fast track here too, because the Sahil Dalrymple was almost 15-7.
Guys.
Really hard. You gotta
sliding
be
back behind the tee.
Got it
Really
really
hard.
hard.
Gonna have to go
Really
to get
hard.
it there. They didn't seem too worried
Gotta
about
keep
it early,
going.
but
Gotta
as
keep
it
going,
starts
guys.
to curl,
Keep
the
going.
weight's coming off.
Keep going.
Are they gonna get it far enough?
I think just.
It's close.
See what our camera angle looks like.
And they do concede it is a single point. They got it just far enough. Felix Lockhart will pick up the single point here in the 5th end. Nova Scotia ties it up. It'll be New Brunswick with last rock in the 6th.
The Canadian Curling Trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants with nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Well, no rest for this Nova Scotia pair of brushers. They just had to sweep one into the other, and then they've got to brush again as we're throwing the guard here to start things off in the 6th end.
Slight mistake, didn't make it to the center line. Just left it a little long. New Brunswick saying, let the games begin.
Yeah. Now this is a little thing, but it is one of those things that it's an ever so slight kind of a teaching moment almost. To come around the guard from this side, if you're light, it's a center guard. If you come around the guard from the other side and you're light, it's still a corner guard.
Yes.
And that's just, those are the types of things that at this level they just haven't got that necessarily figured out yet. As long as you make it, you're good. But you got to think about the tolerance.
Yeah, I got half.
One try board.
That does not look like a lot of ice.
Whoa. Whoa. Curl. Whoa. Curl. Curl. Hard. Hard for a piece.
Does get a piece of it. Now will he hold the shooter as well?
Shooter hangs on and back 12.
Well, I do think from the way they called the sweep that he might have been just a little bit outside, but again,
Yes.
I thought it was pretty tight ice in the first place, so he maybe
It
needed to be.
It didn't have the hard finish, though, that we've seen
Yeah.
in some spots in the ice.
Probably needed the broom somewhere between where he had it and where he threw it.
I'd agree. I agree.
Line's good enough.
Brunswick chose to ignore that rock in the back 12, and
Weight's good.
it's got a lot of curling.
Curl, knife it, go. Back four's okay. You got it, curl.
Just go, just go, just go.
Yeah, all right, curl. All right, keep going.
Hard, you gotta go. Come on.
Keep going.
Hard.
That's good.
Okay.
Weight's nice. He only gets a piece of that stone behind, and being such a long guard, there's room for Nova Scotia to get to it and get underneath. And again, that's really tight ice. I didn't see a weight call this time.
I didn't. I'd say it looks like normal. Probably at this age group, normal's somewhere around the 9.5 to 9 second mark. Tight by the guard.
Real hard.
And right on the beak.
But that's the problem when you throw that kind of weight.
Yep.
You don't get the finish.
Right.
And it needs just a little bit of finish to get underneath. There's a sliver of that rock covered up.
I mean, he's 4 for 4 on back line hits.
So he's looking for back line weight on this, which would be somewhere around about 14.5 seconds.
Yep. Curl.
Weight's good.
Curl. Hey, Ron.
Weight's good.
Hey. Hide.
Hard, you're moving it.
That just had nice steady curl.
Yeah.
Not too hard for finish with that backline weight.
Probably a little heavier than back line. But
Yes. Yeah, probably closer to hack. Yeah, right?
rolled over just a couple of inches, so there's a little more room to get to the inside this time.
11, 11, 5. Curl. Hard curl. Really hard. Really gotta go. Hard.
They'll get to the nose.
I mean, you're 5 for 5 on them now.
Yep.
Back line.
You're hack on the last one. Back line.
Okay, they're talking, making that adjustment.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're at all worried about leaving this rock in the back of the house. The key is to get the roll, and that's a very mature approach.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa, clean.
It's the roll that matters.
Clean. Clean. Curl. Curl.
This is going to be close.
Come on.
Hard.
Come on, Ron.
Hard. Good.
13.5 seconds. So again, that's still closer to half. Right?
Yeah, didn't quite get the roll. But you know, it's up high enough in the house now that even with a nose hit, you might see Dalrymple just come around from the intern side.
Yes.
10, 5, 11. Whoa, straight.
A lot more weight
Yeah.
and a little tight.
Hard. Whoa. Ah.
Just a feather tick.
How was that? Took us 6 shots.
You just never want to do that.
Usually it only takes about 1 of ours.
Going to play the draw towards that stone at the back of the 12-foot. Freeze in front of it, or just come down to the tee line in front of it somewhere. You just want to put it in a spot where it could jam. Sit 2.
Yeah, anywhere here, second shot's good.
Line's good.
You're good. Line's fine. Line's good.
Over on that side of the sheet.
Well, they're right to here. Go on the
Curl.
No, not
Line looks really good.
Really good.
Go. Go on hard.
Hard curl.
That's good. That's really good.
That's a nice shot. Critical to be that far back, too. If you're up 2 feet higher, it probably leaves a double on the reds. It's really tough now. I mean, you could try it, but it's thin, and there's still a chance you jam the second one.
Yes.
So looking for the nose hit on the one that was just thrown. They can't get to the inside this time. They jam it on their own.
Hard for a piece.
Makes the hit, but will roll out a
That
play.
one, he didn't really do it. Yeah.
Same spot.
Yep.
Last one was perfect.
Same spot, guys. Yep.
Line's good.
Curl
Same line.
early.
Yep. Yeah.
Curl early.
Hard line. Hard line.
No, line's good.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
No.
Line's good.
Curl.
Look,
Lot of
look,
curl.
boys.
Curl.
Yep. Curl.
Hard
Looks
curl.
pretty good again.
Curl. Hard. Hard. Whoa. Really good.
Actually got down a little
Maybe.
tighter to it this time.
Yes, a little better.
That's gone. That's gone. Yeah. 10.
Doesn't seem to be any change in the ice. That was still 15-3 to. And just slightly behind the tee.
Nose is pretty good. We'll kill off our back yellow, but we kind of have to.
Skip Stone's here to come in the sixth end of a tie game. Felix Lockhart with his first.
Whoa. 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 Whoa.
This is out there.
Curl.
Sweeping for Curl now. He got a piece, a little piece, enough to get it out.
Is this less or more? Doesn't matter.
There you go.
But, yeah, now you can, but we can't run out of it.
Even if it's like, even if it's not, we're gonna get two. Speed's good.
Dalrymple with his first.
Line's good.
Just needs to be sitting two here. He
Run.
should have
Run
some
the
kind of a
whole
shot
way.
for a deuce, depending what Felix
Run
does
the
with his
whole way.
last one.
Run. Run if you can.
Looks to be just a little bit more weight.
Gotta
It's
curl.
curling. I mean, as long as he gets to the yellow one, he should
needs
be
to have some
okay.
contact. And did not.
Okay.
Just that little extra weight.
I think you're only there. Yeah.
Opportunity lost.
Yeah.
Nose.
You still have to hold your shooter on this one.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Here, nose your shot.
You can see all of it.
Yeah, you can draw your head.
You a bit surprised at the line and weight choice in this?
Well, I'm not, but only because of the way they've played the whole end. Like when they played these hits earlier, they played it with fairly tight ice,
Whoa!
Mm.
Curl!
and it's going to catch them
Gotta
here.
curl. Gotta curl.
Got to get by his own. Oh, he might have got away with it, actually. He jammed onto his own stone, but how do you get rid of that one for two? Caught the stone at the top, came all the way across onto his own stone, but he stayed in front of the red one.
So New Brunswick now, do you look at the blank?
This age group, probably not.
They can sweep it, and it's the same line, basically.
The
So
same
it's a draw
shot
no,
as he
no.
just played. They're looking at playing a split on the yellow. Split it out of the rings and roll your shooter towards the
So
center
I like
line.
edge of button, okay? And it's just the same draw. One's fine. We got to make sure of one. So anything on the inside, you're okay.
Same weight.
Be careful because it looks like it wants to go, but it's not quite. Yep.
Yes. Tricky shot.
It is, yeah. There's a good look at what he's going to see from the hack end. Like, he's got to hit this first one really thin to get it. He can't touch that second red one much at all, or it's not in the rings anymore.
And with perfect weight.
Yeah.
Off your rock, same weight, and then you guys are going to have to sweep it.
High level of precision here.
Well, and, you know, if you're playing it with tolerance in mind, and you heard him talk about we have to make sure of one, the second you hit this too thick, all you're getting is one. You're playing a very hard shot for one here. If you're really playing it for two, you got to risk missing it altogether.
Close.
Girl, run. Hard,
He's
you
got
gotta
a
go
lot of
The
weight.
whole way.
This was supposed to be just heavy draw. Even if he
Run
hits it
hard.
now, not sure
Hard,
they
you
hold the
gotta go.
shooter.
Hard, you're close. Hard, you're really close.
Touches the yellow. Yeah, I'm not sure who's got shot rock there,
No, I'm not sure either.
but the shooter went through, so it's definitely only one.
They're doing a lot of looking at it.
One red.
And they will concede. It's one red. So New Brunswick gets the single point out of it. They will retake the lead. It's 3-2 for New Brunswick after 6 ends of play. Nova Scotia with last rock in the seventh.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Well, we have been treated to an excellent game here. There's been a couple of last rock miscues, but it's been a tight contest. A lot of rocks in place and good shots made. 3-2 as we begin play here in the seventh end. New Brunswick the lead, and they throw the center guard up to get things started on the center line this time.
True.
You have to think, Maurice, that Lockhart, we saw him play the fifth end like he was trying to get a blank out of it. If he sees the opportunity to set this end up for a blank, you got to expect he's going to play it. And on the other side, Sahil Dalrymple has been very willing to play aggressively. He's not going to want to let him blank this end.
No.
He'd like to see a single point go on the board for either team, quite frankly.
I would imagine they're trying to set up for force. That would be their end goal to start the end. But we'll see how quickly he switches it up to a steal opportunity if the opportunity allows that.
You always have to be careful when you're playing for that hard force in 7, and you see this all the time, and you see it not just at this level, at all the levels, including again that other event that they're playing right now in Thunder Bay, and the Briar coming up in a few weeks. You get into this spot that you want that force so bad, and I've always said, somewhat tongue in cheek, you got to be. If you've got last rock here, yes, you'd love to blanket, but that other team is trying so hard to force you, and sometimes they'll force you to 3, and you have to be prepared to let them.
That's right.
Some of those rocks you're sweeping look
That's
a little
right.
weird. Yeah. Just control, eh? You touch them and they go sideways. Oh! Close. Curl.
He's got a lot of curling to do.
Curl. Really got to go.
He had an out-turn hit last end where he might have been just a little bit outside, but he's got a slower handle and he does get some finish. And
maybe hung
I
on.
would bet it's in the rings. And so here to that point, if you're going to ignore that rock, you could be forcing him to 3. So you probably have to make a play on it.
And he's doing that.
I really like this. This is my call. Girl, hard, Mike.
Asking
Hard,
for a
Mike,
difficult hit and roll here.
Hard, it's going. Hard. Keep going.
It's going, but it's going right by. and it's put a dilemma for Lockhart. You know, if you hit that and roll out, I think he's not even thinking about it. He's just peeling the guard.
Yes.
But now you're sitting 2 and
change plans.
yeah, it's exactly like I said. You got to be prepared to let them force you to 3.
And that is exactly what it's looking like.
Yeah.
Top 8. Top 4. Top 4 T. Throw a rock, T.
Whoa. Lots of room.
Just T.
Rushers
Just
like
top
the
8.
weight. Yes, it looks like lots of room here, but it's going to
here,
curl
just
from the
here.
hog line in.
We're almost top 4.
Oh.
We are top 4, actually. Good weight.
Good throw.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Now, if you're Sahil Dalrymple, is this a case of you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound? You got to freeze to that. And the danger in trying to move it is it's hard to stay buried.
You can play this.
The corner freeze on this will be nice.
He was talking about throwing the weight to try to move it.
But the ice is calling, that looks like what's going to happen.
Back line.
Yep. Hard, Mike. Hard, Mike.
I'm not sure he got all the way out to the broom on this one either.
No.
They're going to have to go to get by.
Big time tight.
Hard. Keep going. Hard, you got it.
Sweeper's doing a good job on it.
They get by the guard. Will they get by the yellow at the top of the 12-foot? No. You could make an argument, though, that's still better for the New Brunswick squad. That yellow has popped out in the open now. It's a stone they might be able to use to play some kind of a double later on.
Alex Lockhart's hoping to replace that, though. Excuse me.
Yeah. Still, it's not really the end that Lockhart would like to play. You know, he would have loved to blank you, even if he's trying to play offense. He's not thrilled that he's playing it around the center. I mean, it looks good for now until one good double is made, and
Top 8.
then he might have a decision to make.
Top 8. Top 12.
Oh, lots of room. Lots
Top
of
12.
room. All you.
Go. 3.
Got to make the rings on this.
Hard,
You know,
get it here.
it's great to wait for the line, but you could not be light here.
Hard, guys.
Guard
Gotta
can
be
work
light.
against you.
Hard. Good judge.
They managed to do it. Dragged it to bite the top of the house.
Yeah, you do.
Get the inside of that Yellowstone that's full 12-foot, though. You're probably coming off the back end of that rock, and
Like,
you could sit second in a spot where it's really hard to get rid of it. Has to throw some up weight here.
Curl.
He's calling for curl right away. That may be an indication he might have been a hair full. He'll get the nose hit a little bit on the outside, actually. He does spin the shooter in at his second shot.
Nova Scotia in full control this end so far.
Ten, 5.
Great.
Yep.
Yep. Oh. Yep, straight. Hard. Little roll. No roll. No roll.
Makes the hit, rolls across, actually past the guards and out into the open.
Yep. You gotta count those other two. Yep. 11. Yep. Lean. Lean. Curl. No. Hard. 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 Gotta go.
Needs to get some kind of a roll to the inside here.
Straight. Straight. Hard.
Will not.
So bad.
Any little roll at all there makes this hit a little tougher. There's the risk of jamming it on that yellow. He'd have to be a long ways on the outside to jam it now. A nose hit's not bad.
Yeah.
Get the roll underneath is pretty good.
Yes. And that wasn't overthrown, that one. I think
Nope.
just it was on release. He dumped it a bit.
Here more. 9-5.
Oh.
9-5.
Oh. Straight. Hard. Hard. Clean. No roll. Nice
Makes the
shot.
hit, rolls it over, and now the 3 yellows all under cover.
You can't do anything here. Yeah. I think you're only ever getting to here, and then he just rips it.
Then it's open, and then I go here.
Yes. Great hit for 3 for him, though.
Well, right now it's him getting 4.
Yeah.
They only
You
get
ever
2
make
shots
this
I've seen. I
perfect
don't
when
mind the
he's
freeze on the
really
one at the top of the.
I think
Four.
that is exactly the best opportunity they have.
Come right around everything on the intern side's not bad either. It's a tougher shot.
You just try to get it on that
Yep.
G.
Yeah, you do that, he rips the 6.
Okay, but it might come off of the 3 and still be there. If you can hook it right in, right? And if not, he hits, you might have a hit and roll back in. I'm just saying, to try to get all the way around, you
just
could.
said, If
I'm
you
good.
go here, what does
It's
he do?
definitely
It's
there.
not looking very fun right
No, I know. And trying to open anything is too late.
I think it's this.
Okay? I like
I like it. Yep.
This shot's definitely there. Even if he's back 8, second shot right now, he gets rid of those other 3 stones for the time being.
Yeah, hit the back button. Yep.
Line's good. Straight.
Yep. Line,
Yep.
line.
Hard line.
Hard line.
If it's
Hard
curling
line.
already,
Gotta
he's going to have a
go.
hard time getting by the yellow at the top
Really
of
gotta
the
go.
8.
Really gotta go. Hard. Hard, you're close. Whoa.
Freeze the top one. Roll.
Curl.
It's going to push that stone up a little bit. It just rolls off. Lockhart's first indication was to roll to the inside. I do not think you want to roll to the inside at all this time. Right on the nose.
Blocks off that path.
Yep. You roll to the inside to stagger it again. He's going to try that shot one more time, and if he makes it, you won't be able to get at it.
Nose is really good.
His weight was close.
He wasn't far off.
I don't really
far
want
off.
to roll.
It's
that
odd that
relieving
that
every-
rock curl as early as it did. That's a little unusual.
Yep.
Now, I didn't notice his release. Maybe he's a little
He
soft.
was it was 1578, so that would be, I think,
Okay.
about a half second on the light side. So about 3 feet. Little roll.
Yeah, enough to overlap it again, though.
I think the shot's still there.
Yeah.
Touch more. Yeah, just make sure.
This is almost one of those ones where if you're Nova Scotia, you come down and nobody can tell you whether it's a nice shot or not until you see whether or not the opposition makes theirs, because yes, you're sitting 5, but you've overlapped all those yellows again, and if he does make this draw, and he wasn't far off on the last one, you're not going to have any way to get at it.
Big pressure moment for Sahil Dalrymple.
See if he can make the adjustment here with his last stone. He does have the 1-point lead, but without last rock here and facing 5 right now.
Straight! Whoa, where?
Brushers didn't want to go.
He's considerably heavier.
Even if it would have stopped for a second, it's not bad, but this is going to slide all the way back and just hang on for a bite, maybe at the back. It's certainly 4 already and a draw for 5. Might even be a draw for 6. Hard to tell who's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th shot right now.
Full 12. First shot.
So did you see the force for 5 or 6 coming?
I told you, you got to be prepared to let him force you to 3. In the whole end, you could see it. You know, Elix didn't exactly want to play this, but he was forced into it, and sometimes it works out for you. They were never really in any trouble. I mean, Dalrymple had a couple of chances, maybe for doubles or hit and rolls that could have cut the end down, but he was never in a position where he had to worry about a steal. Now he's got 4 points in his pocket and a chance to pick up 5 here.
Well then.
Just pretty much needs to be on the rings, but
14.
Well, he's got a lot of weight.
This is quite heavy then if he's at 14.
And I don't think he's going to get the line to get the back one. Well, it's 4 for sure.
Yeah, 4.
And it will be just 4. So 4 points on the board here for Nova Scotia. A bit of a missed opportunity. Could have been the 5th, but they will take a 6-3 lead into the 8th end.
Still a big crooked number.
It is a big crooked number. And we'll see if Dalrymple can put one up of his own coming home.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
The Canadian curling trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants with nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
Well, with that big crooked number, the 4 points put up in the 7th end by Nova Scotia, they're going to just simply throw their first one through here to start things off in the 8th.
Good sweet.
Final draw of the round robin portion, all 7 sheets across, and then playoff action starts later this afternoon.
Yes, with a 3-point lead, Nova Scotia's just going to try to keep this as simple as possible. with free guard and with live rock free guard, it's not always that simple.
It's not
to
always
do
that simple. It is. You do see 3 points generated a lot. Now, this is one of the interesting little hiccups that we've seen. Normally, when you've got last rock and you're trying to get that big end, you throw corner guards. But because of the no-tick zone, they're going to throw this first one towards the center line. They got to touch center, though. I don't think it got there.
No, I don't think so.
That seemed like a pretty casual sweep at the end. Like if you're playing that guard towards the center, you were trying to bite the center line, and it wouldn't have taken too many brush strokes on that to carry it a couple of inches further, and it would have touched center.
Nova Scotia could ignore it anyway.
Might as well when you're playing a tick on the center line. You play the tick shot there, you could end up giving them 2 corner guards, even if you make it. So throwing the corner guard now. That go back to the earlier shot where they tried the center guard with the first one, and that might have been something that's come in. Maurice, we haven't talked about this. I haven't talked about it all week. We haven't seen the opportunity for it. But if you throw that corner guard like that at the start of the end, there is a shot that is now getting played in 4-player curling that actually seems to have come from the doubles game. The doubles, when you play that, and a lot of younger players play a lot of doubles. When you play that power play in the doubles and that corner guard, you will see the tick shot played towards the middle where you just push it into the rings and then you can hit it on the next one.
And some of them have become very good at it.
They've become very good at it. So it's funny how the one format has affected the other, and it's changed the strategy call where they try to throw a center guard with last rock here in this end where they need to score 3 just so that they don't get the chance to play that tick shot off the corner that actually came into the game from doubles.
Yes.
Top 4. Lots of room. Top 4, team. Whoa. T back 4. Oh. Back 8. Back 8, back 12.
You know, the challenging thing in doubles, too, is when power play is used, often you're getting out on a piece of ice that hasn't been used a whole lot, other than having to deal with that. We don't have that problem in this game that we're watching right now. They've had a lot of play to the wings.
Yeah, probably as much in this game as we've seen all week long. The teams with last rock here have used the corner. Well, if you're New Brunswick here needing to score 3 coming home just to get to an extra end, you've got everything you could ask for. You've got 2 guards, and now a rock comes to rest in the back 12. You're going to have your opportunities. Now, you don't have a lot of leeway when you got to try to score 3.
Right. This has got a lot of curling to do. But slowing and coming back a bit.
Just chips off that yellow at the back. It's not horrible position.
I heard hard line out of the hand. That's why I swept it.
The 2 guards aren't at a good angle to try the double peel, so they're just going to peel the one on the center line first.
Yeah, right now for Nova Scotia with a 3-point lead, they just need to make rocks go away.
Just clean.
Make a little noise.
Good throw.
Don't love this call.
Where are we going? Are we guarding?
Yeah,
I think you come around the corner now.
I agree.
Let him hit the one in the back. He might peel the corner guard. If he peels the corner guard, you put it back. But if he hits the one in the back, there's a chance he leaves you a pocket back there.
Good.
Line's good. Whoa. You're good. Good, Joel.
As long as you don't leave a double peel opportunity, you're okay.
Right, and the other thing, even if you are trying to play that center guard, which I don't think either one of us agree with, you'd want that as close as possible to the house so that you may be able to use that you're down 3 and you maybe have it there later to chip on.
I understand what you mean, but maybe not. You can't leave a double peel. If you're going to throw a guard, you just absolutely can't leave a double peel. You have the rocks in play that you need to try to score 3 right now. Keep in mind, when you play this with the 5 rock, they threw their first 2 through. That's essentially 2 misses right there. Then
yes,
they're dictated by the shots. You've had 2 misses. You've got your chance to score 3. You come around. If he hits the back one, he's left you a pocket. You can either come around again or come to the pocket. That's how you set up your 3. If you ever give him any kind of chance for a double peel, your end is gone.
Yes.
There's also the possibility that you throw 1 too many guards, and this is Third's first stone. This is 1 too many guards.
Yeah.
Because now if you leave the stone in the back of the 12-foot open, he can hit it, and the best you can do is tie. Well,
this looks like it's coming in.
Yeah, you needed to come around here now. You could get away with that if he jams something here when he hits it.
You got it.
And that's why I think if you're playing this hit, you don't even worry about the double. Just peel it out.
Get control. Gotta go.
The only way you get in trouble here is if you dead jam it.
Hard! Hard, Merrick! Gotta go! Really gotta go! Got it.
Gets the double, so gets away with the jam. And now you just don't have enough places to hide. You've only got 3 rocks. You bury this, he peels the guard, and he's got an open hit on the next one.
Like, at all. What? That's not the way I wanted to play the double. No. That's why I gave him the
You hear Elix? Not the way he wanted to play the double.
Yeah.
Carol! Look up, boys.
Carol!
Hard, Carol.
A lot.
A lot.
Don't think he buried very much of it.
No.
Just a sliver.
10.
Put the broom down a little bit casually.
Well, that second one you turned
If you jam the back one, could it ever roll back into the 12-foot? Maybe.
Yeah.
Felix Lockhart with his first. If he can remove this red, would run New Brunswick out of rocks
Clean, girl.
and would pick up the win.
Good.
Makes the hit. Did jam it on the back, but it spins out.
Handshakes.
They've run out of rocks, and that will give Nova Scotia the win here. It'll go into the books as a 6-3 final. And they will pick up their first win. Nobody goes home without a win in this men's C pool. And with that, we conclude the round-robin portion here of the 2025 Under-18 Curling Championships. I want to thank you for watching this afternoon. My name's Sean Joyce, my partner this afternoon.
Pleasure
Maurice
working
Wilson.
with you, Sean.
It was a pleasure. And there's a few more games yet to come, but it's all playoffs now. Some towards the championship, some towards next year's seeding. And the next game comes up in about 2 hours' time. All of the action for you here on the Curling Canada YouTube channel.